Right now, maybe you're on a couch, at a desk, on a train. Look around. The walls, the lights, the hum of the HVAC system. It all feels permanent, solid, but it's not. Every single thing you see is being held together by a fragile, invisible network of human maintenance. And if that network stopped, if every human on Earth just vanished right now, the city around you wouldn't just sit there. It would start to die immediately. I want you to imagine that right now, at this exact moment, every human being on Earth simply vanished. No explosion, no war, no plague, just gone. You're the last one. The silent cascade. Hour 1, the lights go out. Not all at once. First, the nuclear plants automatically shut down. They're designed to fail safe. Then the coal and gas plants run out of automated fuel feed. Solar and wind keep going, but the electrical grid is a balancing act. It needs constant human adjustment to match supply with demand. Without that, frequency drifts. One substation overloads, trips offline. That shifts the load to the next one, which also overloads. It's a domino effect. Within 24 hours, the entire grid collapses. The city goes dark. Why does this matter? Because darkness isn't just an inconvenience. It's the removal of the first layer of control. Hour 8, the water stops. City water systems rely on electric pumps to push water uphill, to maintain pressure. No power, no pumps. The taps run dry. But underground, a slower disaster begins. Subway tunnels, basements, parking garages, they all have groundwater seeping in. Normally, pumps remove this water 24/7. Without them, the water rises. New York's subway system, for example, would begin to flood within 36 hours. Within a week, it's a river. The mechanism, water finds the path of least resistance. And in a city, that path is down. The first fires start. Gas lines rupture from ground settlement or corrosion. Electrical systems, damaged by flooding or just age, short circuit. A spark meets gas. A fire starts. In a living city, fire departments respond in minutes. Now no one comes. A single fire can burn for weeks, consuming entire blocks. But fire isn't the main destroyer. It's just the opening act. 3 months in, and the first visible sign of decay appears. And it has a name, the freeze-thaw cycle. Here's how it works. Water has seeped into every microscopic crack in every sidewalk, every building facade, every bridge. At night, when temperatures drop, that water freezes. Ice expands by about 9%. That expansion pushes the crack wider. During the day, the ice melts, and more water flows deeper into the widened crack. At night, it freezes again. This cycle repeats hundreds of times a year in every temperate city on Earth. It's like a hammer tapping the same spot over and over. Concrete, which seems so solid, is actually porous. This cycle shatters it from within. But water isn't the only attacker. Plants are. Seeds have been blowing into gutters, into cracks in pavement, into the gaps between roof tiles for years. They're dormant, waiting. Now, with no one to pull them, they germinate. First, weeds, then grasses, then shrubs. And their roots are more powerful than you think. A single tree root can exert over 200 pounds per square inch of pressure. That's enough to fracture solid rock. Now imagine millions of roots, all growing, all seeking water, all pushing against foundations, against pavement, against the very skeleton of the city. Within 1 year, pavement is buckling. Sidewalks are heaving. Building foundations are developing hairline fractures. The city is still standing, but it is bleeding. 5 years after the last human, and the transformation accelerates. Wooden structures rot. Roofs collapse. A single leak, unchecked, can destroy an entire building from the inside out. Mold consumes drywall. Termites devour framing. The interior of the city becomes a compost heap. But look outside. Something extraordinary is happening. We've actually seen a preview of this. In Chernobyl's exclusion zone, abandoned since 1986, nature hasn't just returned, it's thrived. Wolves roam the streets of Pripyat. Bears den in abandoned buildings. Eagles nest on top of Soviet-era apartment blocks. Why? Because without humans, the greatest predator on Earth is gone. In our cities, the apex predator wasn't the lion or the wolf. It was us. We killed anything that threatened us. Now, the food chain reorganizes itself. Rats multiply, then stabilize as foxes and coyotes return to hunt them. Deer wander down overgrown highways. Birds nest in traffic lights. Fish return to rivers that were once toxic sewers. The city is no longer a human habitat. It is an ecosystem. But the most devastating force is still at work, and it's invisible: rust. Steel is the skeleton of the modern city. But steel rusts when exposed to oxygen and water. Paint chips. Protective coatings fail. Water seeps in. The iron in the steel oxidizes, forming iron oxide, rust. Rust occupies more volume than the original steel, so it expands, cracking the concrete around it. This weakens the structure. A beam that once held 1,000 tons now holds half that. Then a quarter. Within 20 years, many steel-framed buildings will begin to sag. Floors will tilt. Windows will fall out. 50 years after the last human, and the city is becoming a forest. Trees that were once saplings planted along streets are now 50 feet tall. Their roots have shattered asphalt. Their branches intertwine overhead, creating a canopy that blocks out the sun. The forest floor is a carpet of leaves, of decay, of life feeding on death. But what about the skyscrapers? Those monuments to human ambition? They die in a very specific way. The windows fall out first, seals fail, thermal stress cracks the glass. Wind and rain enter. The interior rots, but the steel frame remains, rusting slowly. Here's the key. Tall buildings are designed for specific load conditions. They expect weight to be distributed evenly. But when one floor collapses, the floor above it suddenly has nothing to support it. It falls. Then the next. It's not a controlled demolition. It's a cascade of failure. Most skyscrapers will collapse within 50 to 100 years. Not from a single catastrophic event, but from 1,000 small ones. A bolt rusts through. A beam buckles. A floor gives way. The tallest buildings, the ones we thought would last forever, will be the first to fall. Their height is their weakness. They are too exposed, too dependent on constant maintenance, too fragile in the face of entropy. But some structures will last much longer. The Hoover Dam, the pyramids of Egypt, Mount Rushmore. Why? Because they are carved from stone or built with massive, redundant materials. They don't rely on complex systems. They are simple, and in the long run, simplicity wins. Here's what's truly wild. Our most durable legacy isn't our art, our literature, or our monuments. It's our trash. Plastic. It's everywhere. Bottles, bags, microfibers. Plastic doesn't biodegrade. It photodegrades, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces, but never truly disappearing. This layer of plastic will remain in the geological record for thousands of years. Future archaeologists, if they exist, will find our civilization not through our books, but through our bottles. The Voyager probes, drifting through interstellar space. The Apollo landing sites on the moon, preserved in vacuum. The radioactive isotopes in our nuclear waste, decaying over millennia. These are our true monuments. Not the pyramids, not the Great Wall, not the Empire State Building, but the things we sent away, the things we buried deep, the things we never intended to be found. And then there's the radioactive layer. Nuclear waste, sealed in containers designed to last 10,000 years. Will they hold? Or will they leak, creating exclusion zones that last longer than human civilization itself? We are leaving a legacy, but it's not the one we intended. But here's the most mind-boggling part. Some of our creations will outlast the continents. So why does this matter? Why spend time imagining a world without us? Because this isn't really about the future. It's about now. Every day, we make choices. We build, we consume, we destroy, we create. We leave our mark, not just on the landscape, but on each other. The fact that everything will eventually crumble to dust doesn't make our lives meaningless. It makes them precious. It makes this moment, this breath, this connection, this act of creation infinitely valuable. We are not building for eternity. We are building for each other. So when you walk out your door today, look at your city differently. See the cracks in the pavement where the weeds are growing. See the rust on the bridges. See the way nature is always trying to reclaim what we've built. And then, look at the people around you. The ones who are here, now, in this brief, beautiful, fleeting moment. They are your legacy. Not the buildings. Not the things. Not the digital footprints you leave behind. The people you love. The people you help. The people you inspire. They will carry you forward, long after the last building has crumbled to dust. So build wisely. Love deeply. Create bravely. And when the lights finally go out, let it be said that we were here, and we mattered, and we loved, and we were human. Not forever, but for a little while. And that was enough.